We all know Triple H loves his long-term storytelling, but not all of them pan out at the end. In this story, we're going to go through some of WWE's top storylines from 2025 that ended without a conclusion. No satisfying conclusion, no follow-up, no explanation. It's as if they never happened. Hey, since you're here, might as well subscribe, right? I'm going to start off with the most obvious one. This is the one that we can all point a finger to. This is the one that honestly probably has the most complaints in 2025. And that is this weird Rock, Cena, Travis Scott atrocity that happened leading up to WrestleMania this year. I know that the story is that Travis Scott was supposed to have a tag match at some point this year, and he just didn't have the time to train, is what it's kind of how the story has been changed. But from what I hear, he just didn't want to do it anymore. But the story is that he just didn't have the time to train, and he ended up just completely dropping that idea and deciding he didn't want to be a part of the WWE in that way. But us fans, we were left with more questions than answers. The Rock coming in even before this John Cena push or this John Cena retirement tour, right? Last year when he came out and Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes were in the ring and he did this like 1, 2, 3 thing and then he did that. Weird, didn't pan out, didn't pay out. Then when he returned and he wanted Cody's soul at Elimination Chamber, John Cena's heel turn, we were all like, oh my gosh, this is leading to something. There's going to be a faction. There's going to be a satisfying conclusion to this. Even as John Cena was retiring, we were like, oh, his final match has to be against The Rock, right? There has to be some sort of explanation for why The Rock was a part of this. There needs to be something to explain why The Rock took John Cena's soul. He bought John Cena's soul. Cody Rhodes didn't want to give up his soul, so John Cena gave up his soul. We need to figure out why. We need to talk about why. The Rock needs to talk about what happened during this whole thing. And if John Cena then turned against The Rock and went back to being a good guy, shouldn't The Rock be upset and want a match against John Cena? No. The Rock said they didn't need a match against each other. The Rock said that this story did not require a Rock Cena 3 or The Rock to be involved at all. He came out for the heel turn, did that whole thing, and then, John Cena kicked Cody Rhodes in the balls, and that's it. That's all we saw of The Rock for the rest of the year. I don't want to see The Rock in WWE in 2026. I don't want to hear about The Rock in WWE in 2026. I don't even want rocks around the stadium in 2026. That being said, if we have something that's comparable to WrestleMania 40, I wouldn't hate it. Bloodline Rules, that was pretty great. That's pretty great. So, that being said, if we can get that, I'll welcome The Rock. You guys remember when Solo called himself the Tribal Chief? So for a while, Solo had his own bloodline, and he wore the Ulafala, and he said that he was the Tribal Chief. And he brought in his own soldiers, including Jacob Fatu. Shout out to Jacob Fatu. He brought in his own soldiers. He even kicked Paul Heyman out of the group, giving him a power bomb through the announce desk and taking him out for weeks. And then Roman Reigns came back, and it was a whole thing. There was war games in the beginning of 2020 or at the end of 2024, and it was all leading up to the first episode of Monday Night Raw on Netflix in January of 2025, where it was going to be Solo Sikoa against Roman Reigns. And Solo Sikoa said that if Roman Reigns won that match, he would acknowledge Roman as his one and only Tribal Chief. And do you know what happened in that match? Do you know what happened on that January 6th episode? I think it was January 6th episode of Monday Night Raw, the first Raw on Netflix of 2025. Roman Reigns won the match. And what did Solo do? Nothing. Solo didn't acknowledge Roman Reigns. He didn't fall in line. He said he would fall in line, and he did not fall in line like he said he would. Instead, he went and he started a new faction. And now they're called the MFTs. And no one's a fan. I'm a fan of Solo, but this faction just isn't it. But why build this whole thing of Solo being like, I will fall in line, I will acknowledge Roman Reigns if he wins this match, and he will be my one and only Tribal Chief? The elders came out, Haka and Sika came out, and they acknowledged Roman Reigns. They put the Ulafala on Roman Reigns because he was the one and only tribal chief. So if Haka and Sika can acknowledge Roman Reigns as the tribal chief, why can't Solo Sikoa? And why even say it then? If Solo Sikoa was not going to fall in line and it was not going to acknowledge Roman Reigns like he said he would, why even say it? Just have a match. Just have a match and say winner gets the Ulafala, and then that's it. You don't have to say I will fall in line if Roman wins. I will acknowledge him as my one and only tribal chief, because you didn't, Solo. You didn't. I'm upset. R-Truth was released in 2025. Do you guys remember that? And for weeks, we all screamed, we want truth. We want truth. And R-Truth didn't come back, and we kept going. We want truth. We want truth. And then even John Cena was like, you guys can't handle the truth, right? He acknowledged that whole thing, and then it kept going. We want truth. We want truth. And then R-Truth came back. R-Truth came back, and it was like, oh my God, he was wearing a hoodie, because that's what Triple H loves to do. He loves to bring back guys with hoodies. But R-Truth came back. He was wearing a hoodie. He attacked John Cena, I think it was. I think he attacked John Cena. I'm pretty sure he attacked John Cena. Crazy. And then Triple H was even like, you guys enjoying the show? It's all part of the show. You guys enjoying the show? Pretending like the release of R-Truth was all a work, and it was to get us worked up, and the fact that he came back was all a work. You guys enjoying the show? It's all part of the show. You guys enjoying the show? Then, when R-Truth came back, he cut this fiery promo where he's like, don't let anyone ever tell you that you guys don't matter. Your voices matter. Thank you guys. Essentially, he's like, thank you guys for bringing me back. I'm no longer R-Truth. My name is Ron Killings. And he cut his braids right on top of that announce table. And it was like, oh man, we're getting R-Killings and not R-Truth this time around. That's going to be nuts. That's going to be crazy. What's R-Truth going to do? Nothing. Fall back to his old original character. What happened was there was like 2 or 3 weeks of R-Truth being R-Killings, and eventually he went back to being R-Truth, and eventually he went back to being this silly guy that hung out backstage. He said he wasn't a clown when he came back. And he went back to being silly R-Truth. Listen, I love R-Truth. I wish R-Truth would have never left. I wish R-Truth would have never changed. I think R-Truth is a breath of fresh air in this WWE, right? Some silly wrestling, some silly backstage segments from R-Truth. I laugh every time. I pop every time he comes on screen because I like R-Truth, right? I didn't want R-Truth to change. But if you're going to come out and be like, my name's R-Killing now, Ron Killings. My name's Ron Killings now. That's my name. Put some respect on my name. He said that. He said, put some respect on my name. And then went back to being R-Truth a few weeks later and being the same silly guy he's always been. Guys, it was a frustrating year for a lot of this. It was a frustrating. You're all wrestling fans. You understand. This was a frustrating year. The guy was in an Easter Bunny costume this last Smackdown. The most recent episode of Friday Night Smackdown. He was in an Easter Bunny costume playing backup singer and backup dancer to Joe Hendry. That's not the Ron Killings we were promised. That's all I'm saying. On that same note, what happened to Carlito? Sure, we know he was released. We know, or I guess his contract ended and they just didn't renew it. We know, whatever. That sucks. Poor guy. It happened at the same time as R-Truth. But in kayfabe, he just stopped showing up. He was a part of the Judgment Day. He had backstage segments where, he would play a lot of PlayStation, to be fair. He's at work and he's playing a lot of PlayStation. But they had segments backstage with Carlito, right? There was that whole thing between him and Raquel Rodriguez, right? There was like this weird, Carlito has a crush on Raquel. And then all of a sudden, we just stopped getting Carlito on TV with no explanation. As if nothing happened. As if Carlito was never there. That's not cool. That's not cool. The Wyatt Six had a few of these stories, man. They really don't respect the Wyatt Six. And you guys know how much I love the Wyatt Six on this channel. You guys know that the Wyatt Six are a huge part of this channel. But the Wyatt Six had a lot of drop storylines this year. What happened between the Wyatt Six and the Final Testament? Karrion Kross and the AOP and the Miz were in the middle of a feud. They were in the middle of a feud with the Wyatt Six. I think they had like one match, but there was still that like weird chase thing that was happening backstage. They were really going after the Miz as a part of this. And then all of a sudden, they were just traded to SmackDown. And there wasn't like a story, just Karrion Kross just kind of said it one week. And then the Wyatts just went on to SmackDown and just forgot about the feud they were having with Karrion Kross in the Final Testament. And the Final Testament just forgot about this feud that they were having with the Wyatts. From one week to another, it just kind of ended, and then they released the AOP, and eventually they released Karrion Kross, and we just had to pretend as if the Wyatts were never feuding against The Miz and the Final Testament. The Miz is on SmackDown now, and the Wyatt Six are on SmackDown now, but no, there's no mention of that story either. It's as if that never happened. Let's just forget about the fact that the Wyatts were feuding with The Miz, that they were basically hunting down The Miz because he turned on his friend, R-Truth. No, we're just gonna forget about that. I know that that's the entire existence of the Wyatt Six is people that turn on family, whether chosen or real family. But no, we're just gonna forget about it because that's how WWE rolled in 2025. Do you guys remember when Alexa came back for the Royal Rumble this year? Yeah, she came back and then started making appearances on SmackDown, and then we started getting that weird glitch thing that the Wyatts do. And we started getting QR codes from the Wyatts, and it was like, oh man, yes, the Wyatts are going after Alexa because Alexa and Bray Wyatt were good friends. Her and The Fiend have this connection that just never goes away, right? They just have this thing that draws them against each other that you can't have one without the other. So Uncle Howdy is bringing Alexa into the Wyatt Six. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And then those QR codes just stopped. They just stopped. And then Alexa went on to talk to Charlotte and be like, hey, we should partner up. And then they became not friends, and then they became friends, and then the Wyatts just went off and did something else. Why go after Bray Wyatt's top friend person? I don't know what they were, but why do that, right? You're a group that exists because of Bray Wyatt. Why go after Alexa Bliss? Why try to recruit Alexa Bliss? Why do it? WWE is just frustrating, man. A couple of dishonorable mentions. Do you guys remember when Drew McIntyre was hunting down the Bloodline? He took out Jimmy. That's the one member he took out, and then he was like, I'm going to take out every member of the Bloodline, including you, Roman Reigns. And then he just stopped. He just decided, nah, that's too much work. I'm not going to do that. And we just stopped caring. That's fun. WWE, you're fun. Do you guys remember that one promo AJ Styles had in the ring? It happened during a commercial break on Raw, so I didn't think that it deserved its own spot on this list, but he cut a promo in the ring where he talked about how all his friends are gone and there's someone backstage who really has it against him and has really gone after him these last couple months, and he's going to get to the bottom of it. And it kind of felt like he was maybe turning heel, or there was some sort of storyline, or he was going to go to TNA, and then there was going to be an invasion angle with TNA coming into WWE. To be fair, there kind of was, but it was on NXT. But there was going to be an invasion angle with TNA coming into Raw, and it was all going to be led by AJ Styles, right? There's speculations on the internet about that. But no, we just pretended like that never happened. It happened in a commercial break anyway, so not, the US didn't see it, so who cares? Yep. That's WWE in a nutshell in 2025. That would have been an awesome story, by the way. Like AJ Styles, especially knowing that this next coming year is going to be his last year, like that heel run where he is trying to go after the WWE elites, right? To bring back all of his friends, who most of them work at TNA now. That would have been great. But no, that didn't happen. And finally, I wanted to give this last storyline the final place in this video, the final spot in this video, because there actually might be a possibility of this story panning out in 2026, but I don't know if I care anymore. And that is the Austin Theory turn on Grayson Waller. For weeks, we basically just saw Grayson Waller being a garbage friend, right? And they were in a tag team, A-Town Down Under, and Austin Theory and was just being this like good friend, and Grayson Waller just kept volunteering Austin Theory to these weird matches against, monster of people, and just basically treating him like garbage. Backstage segments where he was talking about Austin Theory, And it was just like, oh man, is this ever gonna happen? They were on SmackDown, then they got traded to Raw, and it was like, okay, that's weird, but hopefully that turn is still gonna happen. And we all wanted to see it because Austin Theory apparently is like the nicest guy in the locker room. He's like the nicest guy in the world. I've seen little clips and videos of like where he's not in kayfabe, and he's honestly a really nice dude. So apparently there was this push to make him a baby face, and we all wanted to see him as the good guy that he naturally is. And for weeks, it was like, oh man, he needs to turn on Grayson Waller. He needs to turn on Grayson Waller because Grayson Waller is a hell of a heel, to be fair. Right? This guy can be the biggest heel of WWE if WWE plays their cards right. They probably won't. But this guy, I love Grayson Waller as a heel. So that story was really compelling because it's like the nicest guy against basically the biggest kayfabe heel in WWE. And we were all looking forward to it. And oh my gosh, is it going to happen this week? And is it going to happen this week? And then Austin Theory got hurt. And then the breakup happened off screen. This story lasted months. I'm pretty sure it started in 2024. But we saw their breakup. Well, we didn't see their breakup. The breakup just happened off screen. One day, Grayson Waller just went up to the New Day and was like, hey, I don't have my old partner now because I dropped the dead weight. You guys need somebody? And then the New Day was like, yeah, sure, whatever. That's another one that didn't pan out, by the way. That New Day heel turn, I mean, I guess they tried, but Jesus Christ. But anyway, I say all of this to say that now that we know Austin Theory is, I guess, trying out for the Vision, I don't know if he's an official member yet. I don't know if he's going to be an official member yet. I don't know. People are saying that maybe there's another faction that's being led by Seth Rollins, but why would they be helping the Vision? Anyway, whatever, I digress. But now that he is trying to be a part of the Vision, that he has this new push behind him, maybe, just maybe, we'll see a match or we'll see a story between him and Grayson Waller finally having that falling out on screen. I honestly don't care if it's a match. I don't care if it's 3 matches. I don't care if it's just them two. I don't care if it's the Vision versus the New Day. Just do something, right? Again, I don't even know if I care anymore. But you have this story that has been sitting on the shelf for so long. You have this guy that you're trying to push in Austin Theory. Just have him destroy Grayson Waller. Have him have a match with Grayson Waller to be like, hey, remember when you stabbed me in the back? And then just destroy him. Right? You want to make Austin Theory look like an actual threat? Have him go after the guy that stabbed him in the back and have him destroy Grayson Waller. Again, I don't even know if I care anymore. But the story is sitting right there. Look, it's on a silver platter, WWE. You have a guy that you really need to push, and you have a guy that's basically a jobber. And they have a story that's already started. Just take what's on the plate. Look, just take it. Just look, it's right here. Look, it's right here. Look, just take it. Triple H, just take it. Just take it. Do something with it. Look, just take it. WWE is so frustrating. So there you have it. This was a really frustrating list. As I'm going through each of these stories, I'm like, why did we watch wrestling this year? Why did we watch wrestling in 2025? Honestly, because it's the best. Wrestling is the best. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Let me know in the comments if there's any stories that I forgot. I'm sure there were. I was going through this list in my notes, and I was like, I should probably stop here because I don't want this video to be an hour long. But since you made it this far, make sure to drop a like in the comments, or make sure to drop a like. And like I said, let me know in the comments what stories I forgot. And as always, click on one of these videos. Come join me, subscribe, do all the things. I post a lot, so check out one of my videos. Anyway, as always, until next time, have a nice day.